Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, March 12th, 2018. This is the penultimate week of the Kubernetes 1.10 release. And this week, we will be commencing with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday meetings, and probably Saturday and Sunday meetings too, because that seems to happen. Hopefully not too much of that. But so we are going to run through the schedule real quick and talk about where we're at and where we need to be. So this week, this is lovingly known by myself and others as Crunch Week, which means that we need to get a lot done this week. As I mentioned, we're going to be beginning Monday through Friday burndown meetings. Wednesday is the end of code freeze at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be working with probably Cole at the Google team to help lift that and make the changes to the munger so that the requirements for labeling and whatnot are lifted. And after that point, we basically get into the cherry picking business for 1.10. And technically, because master branch will be open at that point for 1.11, that is the technical beginning of 1.11, but not the actual recognized release start, simply because we haven't identified a release lead yet, and we need to get the schedule and all that stuff. So there's a bit of a lag. The following week, we'll have the retrospective and stuff, and that sort of wraps up the 1.10 cycle and marks the beginning of 1.11. So again, Wednesday, we need to have PRs done via cherry pick process, and I will be notifying the Kubernetes dev list on Thursday that the code freeze is lifted and that we resume normal operations. Friday, we'll have a initial thumb in the wind. Does this seem like we're on track for release vote amongst the team, and have a discussion around that, just so that we can prep for any kind of changes that we might need to do in terms of the marketing activities and other things that are scheduled around release day, which is the following Wednesday. Yes, so again, Wednesday, that's the day. That's when we're planning on doing it. Timing is a little bit open. It depends on how comfortable we're feeling in terms of making the final decision. I am more than happy to delay if it means that we have better signal and better quality of release. If there's not a compelling reason to delay, then we won't, and we'll just get it out and start getting the ball rolling. But typically, the release is cut, again, around 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific, depending on how that goes. The process takes a bit. Caleb can probably speak to that a little longer, or a bit better than me. I don't know if he's on the call, but it does take a while to run all the jobs to get the release cut. Also, next week, we will be managing media engagements. We'll be handing off the 1.10 release to the patch manager. And so basically, after the release is cut, the patch manager becomes the go, no-go for any additions to the release branch, and that ceases being my job. So, and then we will hopefully have a 1.11 release leader identified soon that will take the reins for 1.11. Lastly, next week, we'll just prep for the retro. So if there's, again, anything that you think of as we've gone through this that could have gone better, or things that you'd like to see done differently, definitely hit that retrospective document. And there's a link to it, as always, at the end of each burndown meeting minutes. And if you're following along after the fact, those meeting minutes are available at bit.ly/kates110-burndown. So without further ado, metrics review. Open issues in the milestone, currently set at 18, and that is down 4 from Friday. Critical issues at 18, down 2. Other markers are plus or minus 1, so they're not really a big deal at this point. There are a number of milestone needs attention issues, and so what I'd love to do is if you could just run through those and make sure that if there's something that you know about from a SIG perspective that needs to be updated, or if you need to get consensus on adding it to the milestone, then please do that. I have also looked at those and tried to update them as I go, but for the most part, that's not necessarily my responsibility. It's about the SIGs making sure that they're comfortable with where issues are at, and they should or should not be in the milestone. Open PRs, the milestone, are currently at 16. That's up 1, which is fine. The things that are out there seem to make sense. That's up 11 closed, so we're actually moving things into the milestone, which looks good. There are currently some critical PRs out there. There's 4. I put needs attention on the fixed default auditing options because that's been out there for a while, and I want to make sure it's getting worked. Important soon. Again, there's some more things there to look at. I put a link to those in the meeting minutes if you want to look at them, and some test blocking. Both of the test blocking PRs need attention, so they're not actually in a state where they've got the right milestone labels in place. So whoever needs to look at those, that would be super great, just so that if they need to be in there, they are, and if they're not, then we pull them out. And long-term stuff, not really an issue, and test grid dashboards we'll talk about as we move forward. So I don't see Caleb, so we can skip branch updates, branch health, unless somebody wants to add something there. Okay. Any critical failures right now that we need to talk about?
I just noticed the alpha feature suite start to fail, like starting yesterday, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to open an issue, and there seems only 2 PRs between the test grid days.
Okay. Huh. That's odd. Okay. Any other?
So Chris and I were trading notes about a GKE problem. Essentially, dashboard has been disabled when GKE's cluster starts. So some tests failing there, and I think we were trying to figure out. I don't remember what happened. I think we have a PR, right?
First issue, first item, like in the test failure triage. I think in Ben opened something test infra. Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, Ben has a testing for PR to enable dashboard add-on in failing GKE test. I can link the there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So the status there is they need to get confirmed by the GKE team.
Right, but do we have to wait for them is the question, right? We should just merge this because we know we need dashboard in the test, and the way to add dashboard is using this PR, so we should just merge it and get it over with.
Yeah, what do we need to do to move that forward? I'm looking at the PR now. It's approved, it just needs an LGTM, and the hold, let's see.
Yeah, I'm going to apply LGTM because we know that we need dashboard for the test to work, especially the upgrade test.
Yeah, okay, I'll stamp it.
Yeah, I did a LGTM, so let's just get it in.
Okay. So question is, I mean, the sort of the rules of the game though are whoever puts the hold in needs to be the one to lift it typically.
I'll talk with Ben.
Yeah, this was Chris. Yeah.
Does Chris work at Google?
Red Hat.
I
don't know. Good question.
Which Chris?
Blecker.
Yeah.
C. Blecker.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he's Google. All right.
So his idea was, let's get a confirmation from the GKE engineering team, and it's like, I don't think we really need to do that. We can just tell them that this changed, and we are adjusting, coping with the change. That's all.
Yeah.
Ideally, they should have told us before, but it's okay.
Well, let's do this. Let's see if Christoph can lift the hold in the next hour or two, and if not, I'll lift it. But I definitely want to give him an opportunity to weigh out that concern. So
yeah, I can chat with some GKE folks.
Yeah,
as well.
Cool. That's actually, I think, honestly, that's the right answer. And Christoph was just speaking in terms of preserving Google's interest there. So, Sen, if you can track that down, that's actually my preference. I'd prefer you to do that.
Will do.
Thanks. Because we definitely don't want to accidentally do something that is going to impact GKE. Cool. Okay. Do you want to continue through the stuff that you're working on there, Sen?
Yeah. We've talked about that dashboard failure in GKE test. In the serial test, there are 3 test failures. One is the signal resource use tracking. It just seems we use more resources in 1.10, and that fails the EE test.
So does that feel like it is a performance regression, or maybe a result of additional functionality, or how does that plan?
Yeah, from the last update, they're saying this was due to an update in Fluent 0.14. And I'm not sure the SIG has a action item under the issue. Maybe we should revert the Fluent date.
Yeah, I'd want to understand the impact of that, and because this is going to run into the same buzzsaw that the etcd thing did, where there's going to be fixes that are going to need to probably be. I don't know if we could backport fixes, if that's something that's necessary, or why it was upgraded, but we probably need to get to the bottom of that. So if we can, I'm sorry, if we can just put something in the issue to that effect that we need to diagnose, what's the trade-off of reverting?
Well, the fix shouldn't be all that bad. It should be an image bump, either forward or backwards.
Right. I'm not necessarily worried about that, but I'm more worried about was the image bump necessary for some critical bug fix, or was it simply just good hygiene around keeping revision?
BMOS has a PR open, say use gRPC to improve the CPU utilization of the logging agent. He claims that will fix the issue. Maybe we can get that PR moving forward.
Okay.
I think the PR there. Maybe someone want to review that.
All right.
And the flex volume EDE has a fix opened. It was blocked by the GKE failure right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we should get that one in really soon. And there's the last issue was a SIG cluster lifecycle one. Should restart all nodes and ensure all nodes and recover. I don't see a status update on that issue. I probably need to ping the SIG.
Yeah. If you don't get any traction there, can you let me know, and I'll go hassle people?
Add a note.
Thanks.
Okay. Then the Scalability suite. So I think SIG Scalability is still, they're still tracking down the performance degradation by upgrading the etcd version. We probably want to invite them to give an update here because I'm not sure like their like detailed progress.
Okay. Anybody here have close ties with SIG Scalability? Okay. All right. Well, I'll.
They're based in, at least on the Google side, not on a convenient to the West Coast time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mostly from European, so.
I talk to Sham from time to time, but I don't really hang out where they hang out.
Are we talking about the memory usage thing?
Yeah.
They seem to be on track of an issue with etcd for that.
There was one thing that got merged, but I don't know if that was
We merged reverting the EDCD version, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That's the one that got merged. Yeah.
So do we have test results after the merge?
Let me see.
There were some positive results maybe, but then it looked like there was yet another change just recently to try yet another etcd version. So it seems like they're still triaging.
Okay. I assigned myself that to follow up with the SIG, but if we can get more info, more signal, then that would be better.
Sven, does that, sorry, not about the scalability, but about the alpha features that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Does that look like a regression to you from the scheduler
yeah.
change?
Seems like there's only 1 or 2 PR if you click the test grid diff.
Yeah, and it looks like there's like a pretty hard break.
Yeah.
That thing started on with F7AA. But they're all like timeouts.
Maybe that busted like testing setup or something, probably.
Yeah, or maybe that scheduler, the test is just slow now.
Yeah.
But that went in through the exception process, so maybe Janet could help with that triage.
I guess I'll open issue and who should I assign, Janet?
Possibly, yeah, because it looks like she was confirming the exception request last week. She added the issue to the PR to the milestone.
Sure.
Do you have a link to this, what you're looking at? Because I'm not sure which one you're looking at.
I'm looking at it's feature 548 here. Let me drop it in chat.
Okay.
But we can also speak to Bobby on our side here at Google, besides just Janet.
Okay.
He's got scheduler context. I think he actually might own this feature. Yeah. It's IBM. Yep.
So going back a couple of steps, the HCD, I pasted pending PR 60998, and that is actually hiding behind the Kubernetes dashboard problem. So we need to get the Kubernetes dashboard problem fixed first, and then we can run the tests on this PR. But then the question is, if we do want to treat this as a release blocker, the 3.1.12 of HCD, then how much time do we need tests to run? Like a few days before we can ship? Because this seems like new HCD versions are like always, I don't know. How long would we need?
I'm not sure. So time for that, I mean,
I think if there's a scale tests, you need at least 8 hours for one run.
Gonna say 24 full hours, but
right. But we usually say, okay, we need like 3 runs of all the tests or something like that, right?
So that might be like 24 if they all complete.
And it needs a whole bunch of reviews. That's the other problem. We need cluster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 directories. Yeah. We need people to review.
this is where that starts to become problematic. I mean, I
Yeah.
understand the need for it, but yikes. Okay. I kind of feel like this needs this etcd thing and just coordinating this. We need to have somebody dedicated to it, or somebody that's willing to take point on this, because this feels like a big enough issue that this could really interfere with the release. So, anybody feeling magnanimous? Anybody want to help lead point on this?
I can chat with Shyam and understand the issue first. And I probably also want to grab him into, we have a meeting tomorrow, right?
Yes, we'll do this all day, or every day this week.
And we can probably, Son, do you know if Joe's on vacation?
Which
Is he-
Joe?
Betts.
I have no idea.
Okay, so from our side, I hear at least at Google for API machinery, we should be able to. I'll pull in Joe. What was that issue again? For the etcd, is that 6998?
998. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let me take a look at that. I'll forward it on to him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his PR actually.
Yes,
So
that's
we'll
right.
we'll see if we can just conscript him.
So, is there a link in the? I want to capture this in the notes just so that we're clear here. Was there a link to that in the notes somewhere, that particular PR? Or the issue, rather?
It's in the chat. I don't know
Got
about
it.
the notes.
So Anonymous Badger just added it.
Yeah, and it'll be in the burndown upgrade, obviously, and has been actually every day for the last 10 days or so. So
Yeah, I just want to make sure it gets lots of visibility. All right. Cool. All right. Sen, do you have anything else to add?
Let's see. Upgrade test-wise, there are still a few like test breakage from 1.9. We need to backport some 1.10 fixes back to 1.9 once that branch is open. But I'm not too worried about that because those tests are passing in 1.10, and we know they will fail in 1.9. My real concern is the downgrade test is still busted last time. You see, yeah. Looks like a SIG storage and SIGAX issue. It's like failed to delete a stateful set. Yeah, Jace pinged the SIG owner 3 days ago, but he's still no updates. I'll try to CC more folks on the issue.
Great. I'm going to actually write a note to Saad right now and just say,
And then Bobby is looking at a scheduling failure.
okay. Okay, I just sent a PTAL to Saad, so he'll hopefully get back to me. He's usually very responsive, so he probably just didn't get the notifications through GitHub, which no big shocker there. Okay, so we'll try and get that tracked down. Okay, let's see here. So, okay, anything else that we want to hit before we move on?
I just saw something. There is a CVE fix from Jordan. 61044 issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi. That is in process now. That's actually what the 1.9 branch was frozen for. So we are in the process of cutting releases for 1.7, 8, and 9. And the master PR is ready to merge. It's been reviewed and passed CI in the security repo already. So as soon as we get the releases cut, probably in the next hour, we'll be tagging the master PR branch as well.
Okay. In terms of getting that into the 110.
So I'll do a midday
Thanks.
branch fast forward then.
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll want to pick that up in the next fast forward and tag we cut.
Sounds good. I'll do it after lunch. Do you want to produce a new beta for that as well? Or are you fine just waiting?
Can you produce a new beta for me?
If you would like.
Yes, I would love that because that'll
Sure.
unblock some other important stuff.
Cool.
Caleb, Shyam wanted a beta too, so it would
Okay,
be good
I
to have
will
one.
forward and I'll cut a beta at the same time. So it won't go through CI, but it'll be a speculative beta if that's fine with everyone.
That should be fine. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it will have gone through CI on a master, so I'm not super concerned.
Okay. Cool. Anything else that you need to follow up there, Jordan? Anything else that we can do to assist you?
Nope. I think we've got it in hand. If you're wondering where all the release managers are, that's where they all are right now.
Yes.
Awesome. Are someone planning on just confirming that the release has gone out on master, like in SIG release or something?
Which the
security once it's landed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have announcement drafts all set up, and
Okay,
we can ping the channel as well.
Awesome. That'd be wonderful. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Moving forward. Any test infra updates? Not sure if anybody's on that can speak to that. I don't see anybody. Let's go and move on. All right. User-facing documentation. Jennifer, you're on.
I am informed by the last 3 docs the wranglers for the last 3 releases that docs are in unusually good shape.
Woohoo.
As well as attested by the number of open docs PRs. A couple have come in over the weekend that surprised me. I would like at some point this week to touch base with Ihor to make sure that we are accounting properly for features, but I'm thinking that these look like small things, and I'm also thinking that our release notes will take care of things. So yeah, we're looking in good shape.
Fantastic.
My biggest concern this week, I may need to pull in some consulting expertise. I am slammed with not 1, but 2 simultaneous releases for Heptio. And so getting the generated docs out, I may need some help. But I have volunteers waiting to help out. So
okay.
I think that part is also covered.
Okay, if you need help, please, don't hesitate. This is the week where this stuff has to come together.
No, I know. I've already talked to my my potential stand-ins at the end of last week.
Okay.
So
fantastic. Thank you so much.
I want to do it, but there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, boy, do I understand. Great. All right, marketing, Natasha.
All right, just getting off mute. So it looks like some of the features are changing a little bit, which we expected for the blog. And so I just want to make sure, I know Eeyore was in there, JC looked at it a little bit last week, but I just want to make sure that the release team is going in there and noting any changes and or any replacements that we need to make. And ideally, I would start my pre-pitching to media and start setting up interviews on Wednesday. I'm going to wait till after this call next Wednesday or this Wednesday just to see where everything's at, to see what the release team is comfortable with. And if the release date pushes, But I would like to try to give the media, 3 to 4 business days to meet with you to get their messaging down. That way we can make sure that their articles are accurate as possible. So, I mean, your honest opinion, do you think that might be possible with some of the testing and the changes that are going on?
In terms of certainty on the release date, or what is
not certainty on the release date, but the ability to provide them a draft of the blog and discuss some of the features to make sure that ends up in their articles.
Yeah, I think that we're pretty good there. I would definitely defer to Ihor a little bit on this, but from my perspective, feature stuff is not going to be changing between now and release time. So that I'm aware of, I don't see anything that seems as a candidate for a reversion that I can see.
Okay, perfect. All right, well then I will move forward. I'll send an email around. I'll move forward with having everybody make their edits to the release blog, and then my recommendation on reaching out to media and timing of interviews and timing of stories, just to make sure nobody has any concerns, and then we'll move forward on our end.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so hi guys, I just joined the meeting. Sen invited me, and I thought I'll probably give a quick update on the HCD regression, like the more specifically the pod startup latency regression. Last week we identified that there was this regression with updating HCD to 3.2 whatever from 3.1.10, and that caused an increase in the memory usage of HCD 2x, and we also are observing that it led to increased pod startup latencies. So I did a bisection, and once we identified that, after discussing with a bunch of folks, we went back to using 3.1.11, and that kind of partly fixed the problem. And it turns out there is probably one more regression on top of it, because like the pod startup latency kind of came down a bit, but it's still above our 5-second SLO. And yes, so currently I am doing a second round of bisection for a regression that came after this. So yes, hopefully I'll be able to point out this the faulty PR sometime today or tomorrow. It depends on how lucky I am with the bisection. And yes, so I hope this wouldn't be any significant revert. This wouldn't need any significant revert of a feature or so, but yeah, I'll need to check it out. And yeah, so I kind of have a range right now, like, but it's a big enough range as about 70 to 80 commits in between. And yeah, I think that's basically it.
Thank you so much for looking into that. Super, super helpful. If there's anything that I or anybody in the team can do to help, please let us know.
Sure.
Do we have an idea about when this whole issue might be resolved? I mean, just your gut. I know that obviously bisection is really tedious, but
yeah, it's a bit painful. But so I would kind of refrain from like saying it too confidently, but I think if there's just this and there's no more regression on top of this, it probably we should be at least knowing the problem, if not debugging it, but if not fixing it by, let's say, by Wednesday or maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
And yes, I just remembered actually there is another issue which probably is not this serious, but it's still marked as a release blocker. Let me just quickly find that one.
Yeah, and if you can paste it in chat, I'll put it in the release or the team
Yes.
notes.
Yeah, I'll do that. So it's 60500. Let me put it in the chat.
Thanks.
So it's this one that I just started looking into. So I didn't manage to find time to like work both this and the other one. So I just started looking into this. This is probably not that serious in the sense that this is being seen flakily. Like some of these failures are being seen flakily, but yeah, there might be something behind this as well. So
Okay.
I'll be able to give a better
Are
update
you saying,
probably after some more debugging.
are you saying that issue is not because of the etcd regression?
Yes, this seems unrelated to the regression because the HCD thing has been fixed. We reverted it back, but these failures, these issues we're still seeing. So it's probably something else.
Okay. Yeah, please keep us posted on that in the release Slack channel, because
Sure.
I definitely, if it needs to be blocking, I definitely want to know that sooner than later, especially since you're already working on this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, Sham, anything else?
I guess that's all from my side for
Okay.
now.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, so Natasha, in terms of we're kind of going through the marketing stuff. Is there anything else you want to add? It seems like we're on track. We just need to continue refining the blog post. Was that about it?
Yeah, I want to make sure that the blog post is in a good spot where I can send an early draft to media, so that way they can base their stories on that. And a lot of times they want to see what's in the release, so that way they could get permission from their editors to conduct interviews. So that's usually kind of that initial step to be able to set up interviews for you, and to get the stories rolling. So I just want to make sure that we get that blog in a good place by Wednesday, so I can send it under embargo to media and start doing interviews.
Okay. Who do you need actually what action items are out there in terms of blog review? I've probably got one, but who else?
You do. So I've asked you and Eeyore and Caleb just to kind of look through the blog, the upfront portion, the title, and the feature sections, just to make sure that everything is accurate and presented in the way that we want it presented. Mm-hmm. I have Caitlin updating the 5-blog series, so she's working with Eeyore on that. The release team section has been written. I just want to make sure that that's how we want to present it. You are filling in the project velocity area, and I know we've had a comments chain on that. And then in terms of case study highlights and ecosystem updates, KubeCon updates, and how to get involved, those sections are done. And then Caitlin is just filling in the webinar with the date and time and the link for people to click on that. So a lot of it is written. I just want to make sure that, it is that source of truth and everyone is happy with that. And then I also sent a note over to Aparna to see if she had any additional input and if she wants it to go over to Brian and Tim. So this is my main focus right here, is making sure that everyone is comfortable with the draft for me to send that under embargo to media.
Okay.
And I won't send it until I have sign off from you saying, yep, this looks good, we are comfortable with this messaging. Because if a reporter pulls sentence from sentence verbatim into their story, I want to make sure that everybody is happy with that. And I think that's a really good outcome, because they're, really staying on the message that we're getting out there.
Okay. Agreed. This is, and I've mentioned it before, this is heads and shoulders above how it's been in the past. So fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Okay. Last section to go through is release notes. Nick, are you still around?
Yep, I'm still here. Okay. So the release notes are in a state right now that if you put a gun to my head and said, you must have these out in 2 hours, I could release them. I could just basically strip out a bunch of extra information that I've put in. Right now, if you go and look at the release notes, it's easy to get terrified because they're 93 pages long. But of those 93 pages, probably, I don't know, 70 of those pages are probably extraneous information that I've added in just to give a little bit of context for when we clean up the text of each of those notes. So I'm kind of I'm in a weird place because I want to invite people in to come and put in the major themes, and B, there's a section at the bottom for items that I don't know what SIG they belong to. There's also an area for items that I don't believe are user-facing and probably don't need to be in the release notes. So on the one hand, I want people to come in and look at them. On the other hand, I don't want people to run screaming. So I'm thinking about how to manage that particular conundrum.
What I think we might want to do is have a 1 hour docs hack. Maybe we just, as a team, we go through the doc and
awesome.
Just start cutting that down some.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've already started that process. But yeah, I mean that would be awesome if we could just sort of schedule that.
Okay.
When would you want to do that?
This is going to be tricky because I don't know who all our stakeholders are that we need to have actually reviewing it. And it has to be this week. So worst case, it could be next Monday, but I would like to get it done this week.
Yeah, no, I would definitely prefer to get it done sooner rather than later. Yeah, I mean, there's just on a sort of weird side note, a lot of this information, I mean, there will be an unofficial webinar on Wednesday that talks about a lot of this stuff. So the sooner we do it, the happier I will be. But yeah, so I'm going to trust your judgment. I'm going to trust your judgment on that.
All right. I will look at that. And so you are the blocker since you're the sort of process holder. So what I'll do is check with you privately offline, and we'll synchronize some time windows at work, and then I'll try and rally around getting people to show up for that.
That works for me.
Okay, great. Yeah, because I think we need a little bit of a barn raising around that. So
that would be awesome. I'd be very happy with that. Great.
And can you, just so we got it in the notes, can you link to that draft document again, just so it's there?
I certainly shall. I'm going to drop it in the chat, and then
okay.
I'll put it in the notes.
Fantastic. Okay. So things are looking pretty good overall. It seems like I don't see anything so far that has me convinced that we're gonna miss our deadline yet. Are there any announcements or open mic items that anybody wants to hit before we adjourn the meeting for today? Okay. As always, thank you everybody for your time. I'm hoping that the meeting tomorrow will be shorter, and we'll try and make these as efficient as possible. Thursday, this meeting collides with the community meeting. If you're on the release team, the core release team, I would expect, hopefully, that you attend this meeting and not necessarily the community meeting. And we will go from there. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.